Imagine a life where you never have to buy anything again. Every morning, the world prepares itself just for you. A frictionless existence, where every desire is just one click away. No clutter, no maintenance, just the pure utility of access. Your car is a service. Your music is a stream. Even the software you use to work is merely on loan. You are the master of a vast, invisible library. But listen closely to the rhythm of your bank account. Between the convenience and the comfort, something vital is missing. Welcome to the rental trap, the high cost of owning nothing. We begin at the threshold of the transaction, the gateway to the subscription loop, $9.99. It is the most dangerous number in finance. Your brain treats this as a rounding error, not a permanent financial commitment. This is the architecture of the micropayment. It bypasses your loss aversion receptors entirely. Friction has been removed. There is no longer any pain in the click. We trade small fragments of our future for the immediate feeling of digital safety. One subscription is a convenience. 10 is a silent, systemic leak. You aren't buying a product. You're buying a temporary license to exist in their space. It is a death by 1,000 digital paper cuts. Unnoticed until the blood runs cold. The math of the micropayment ensures you will never actually own the room. You clicked Buy Now. You felt a rush of permanent ownership. But in the digital realm, buy is a legal euphemism. You aren't purchasing a product, you're purchasing a temporary permission slip. Your digital library is a ghost town, waiting for a server shutdown. A sudden, sharp, off-screen narrator emphasizes evaporates and says, when a platform loses a license, there is no shelf. There is only a stream you don't control. Ownership once meant a physical object you could hold or sell. Now, it's a fragile connection to a cloud that doesn't know you. The terms of service are the bars of your digital gilded cage. Convenience has quietly traded your legacy for a fleeting, rented moment. The digital fog is solidifying. It is moving from your screen into your driveway. You paid $50,000 for the metal, but the soul is leased. Hardware as a service has arrived. Your physical property now requires a digital yes. The heating coils are there. You bought them. But they stay cold today. To activate the warmth you already own, insert $18 per month. The wires are connected, but the permission is missing. You are a guest. Acceleration is no longer about the engine. It is about the credit card. You are now a tenant in a machine that carries your name. The manufacturer has installed a permanent toll booth inside your private life. The wall between owning and renting has finally crumbled into dust. The ultimate subscription isn't on your phone. It's where you sleep. The white picket fence has been replaced by a login screen. Institutional funds are buying the neighborhood out from under you. They aren't selling homes. They're selling a service-level agreement. In the rent-forever economy, you are a guest in your life. They trade your equity for a luxury lobby and gym. Every check builds someone else's empire, never your foundation. Shelter is no longer a right, it's a recurring revenue stream. Try to paint the walls, and you'll realize who owns you. When the dream is leased, the future becomes a liability. Let's strip away the marketing and look at the cold, clinical math. Ownership is a sacrifice of liquidity for the sake of future stability. Renting is a sacrifice of stability for the sake of temporary access. After 30 years, the owner holds a tangible, debt-free pillar of wealth. The renter holds 30 years of receipts and a $0 balance. Over 50 years, that gap becomes a chasm of lost generational wealth. Subscription fees are a leaky faucet, draining your personal reservoir of autonomy. That reservoir doesn't evaporate. It flows directly to the balance sheets of titans. You aren't paying for a service, you are funding their permanence. By owning nothing, you become the product being leased back to yourself. Beyond the math, there is a deeper shift in the human spirit. Welcome to the era of Neo-Feudalism, where access is the new currency. You are no longer an owner, you are a digital serf. Your rights are buried in pages of fine print you never read. One missed payment, and your digital life evaporates instantly. Even your security is a recurring fee, a toll for peace of mind. The landlord is no longer a person. It is an algorithm. Ownership is a foundation. Renting is a treadmill designed for fatigue. You are asking for permission to use the tools you already bought. This is the true cost. The psychological weight of never being home. Inflation is loud at the grocery store, but silent in your inbox. A $2 hike feels negligible until it's applied to everything you use. Companies use frictionless billing to bypass your brain's pain receptors. If you don't swipe to pay, your lizard brain doesn't feel the loss. This is subscription fatigue. The mental load of 1,000 micro-decisions. Eventually, the brain short-circuits. You stop auditing. You just pay. Cognitive exhaustion is a feature of the system, not a bug. When looking at your bank statement causes pain, you stop looking. Financial apathy is the final stage of the rental trap. You aren't choosing convenience anymore. You're just too tired to fight back. In the past, your possessions served as a silent insurance policy. If life turned sideways, you could sell your tools to survive. This was the resale floor, the minimum value of your life's work. But digital locks have systematically demolished that floor. You don't own the software, you possess a temporary license. Try to sell your digital library. You'll find it's worth zero. Physical goods are now bricked remotely when the subscription ends. The second-hand economy was the first line of generational wealth. Without resale, every dollar you spend is a permanent exit. You are building a house on land you can never own. Entering the cycle is a frictionless slide. Exiting is a vertical climb. A single thumbprint grants access. The brain barely registers the transaction. This is the Roach Motel design. Check in easily, never leave. The cancel button is a ghost, buried under layers of digital rubble. They use confirm shaming. Click here if you hate saving money. A maze of "Are you sure?" Pop-ups creates intentional cognitive fatigue. Friction is the weapon. If it's hard to quit, most won't. Some require a phone call, a psychological barrier designed to exploit social anxiety. It's easier to keep paying than to fight the interface. Your decision fatigue is their recurring revenue. The trap is closed. The trap is massive, but it is not inescapable. You can opt out. Resistance begins with the physical. Buy the book. Own the disc. Every physical asset you own is a fortress against the recurring bill. Demand the right to repair. Break the seal. Underneath, it is yours. Stop being a user. Start being an owner. It requires friction. Friction is the only thing that slows the bleed of your wealth. Build a floor for your net worth. Assets that don't vanish at midnight. The second-hand economy is your exit ramp. Resaleable goods are liquid freedom. Every time you choose a tool over a service, you win. Ownership is a radical act. It is the refusal to be deleted. Convenience is a sedative. It numbs the pain of slowly losing your autonomy. We traded the pride of ownership for the quiet prison of recurring bills. Securing your own mental equity is the only subscription you can't outsource. If you own nothing, you aren't the customer. You are the yield. Break the loop. Real wealth is measured by what you can keep. The final invoice isn't paid in dollars, but in decades of lost freedom. Buy the disc. Fix the machine. Claim the land. Choose the friction. Equity is the only shield against a future designed to rent you back. Stop paying for the privilege of existing in someone else's empire. The subscription to your life has expired. It's time to buy it back.